Okay. You've said that the lies have been going on for 10 years or longer, but you have admitted to lying to the people for a year and a half. Why in that year and a half were you lying to them? Why didn't you stop it sooner? Why didn't you tell them the truth sooner?
In this sentence, are you quoting? I am referring to the fact that I was not brave enough to change this line. I came into my office 1.5 years ago. This is why I use this term. Half years later, at the beginning of the 2005, I addressed the Hungarian Parliament, and I was spoken that, you know, what we are doing is false. We are not brave enough to tell the truth. And it was not understood by anybody. And it was misunderstood by my fellows, my party fellows, and by my opposition. It was clear that it's not enough just to speak about this phenomena theoretically, but we need to implement some radical changes. But that time, I was not in a situation in which I had the opportunity to initiate these deep reforms, and I just made some small steps ahead.
The reality was you were lying because you wanted to be re-elected. I mean, you needed to perpetuate the lies, otherwise your party wouldn't be re-elected.
If we just implement some budget adjustment, I thought at that time, and I think it now also, it's not an appropriate program because it has to go together with some structural reforms. And 1 year before the next election, it's not a good time for any structural reforms. And
to tell the truth?
The truth that we need reforms. We are not able to invest more into the social affairs. This is what I was campaigning with. I have not promised that time any new social program to the people. This was the main difference in the last 1 year in Hungarian politics. I was talking about the investment, renewing Hungary and structural reforms, and another part of the Hungarian era continued the old-fashioned politics. It was a real corruption.
But in that time, the budget deficit was high. You were telling the people that the opposition politicians were saying the budget deficit is high, don't listen to the Prime Minister. You were telling them that's wrong, that's ridiculous.
Yes.
That was bold-faced lies to the people. And you weren't strong enough not to lie.
We did everything what we could for meeting the deficit criteria in the budget. When we overrun this deficit last year, we were talking about publicly. We did not hide it at the end of the previous year. At the beginning of this year, I always repeated, if I see any cause to intervene, I will. It's true that after the first half months of the year, it started to become more and more clear that the original target cannot be maintained.
In that time, in that year and a half when you were lying to the people, what's going through your mind? You know you're standing in front of your countrymen and you're not telling them the truth and you're supposed to be leading them. What's going through your mind? How do you feel about it?
I felt responsibility that we should we should launch the new period. Because what I'm speaking about is not about figures and data. It's about some kind of attitude that we let people believe that we, the government, can make them rich and can give them a fortune as a gift. And we try to avoid to make them face the obligation that they are responsible for themselves. These are the lying I am speaking about, not about concrete figures or data.
But you've violated the fundamental tenet of what politicians are supposed to do, which is be honest with their people. You've violated that. How can you expect them now to respect you and say, okay, carry on, Mr. Prime Minister?
No. It's much more complicated. It's much more complicated.
But it's okay to lie?
It's much more complicated.
Well, is it okay to lie?
If you talk to your wife, if you talk to your friends, and you try to argue them or persuade them for changing your life, and you are addressing or delivering the very dramatic monologue for, please understand, we need some changes. In this monologue, as you are simplifying the facts, you use the very strong emphasizes. It's private persuasion for your private fellows to change what as you understand, that we took in the people it's not the real truth. Now, when I'm speaking about lying, it means that we were not brave enough facing the country, the necessity of reforms. It's not about hiding.
So why should you be the man? Why should you be the man to continue to do that now, when you've admitted that you weren't strong enough to do that? And this has only come out because somebody's leaked the tape, not because you wanted it to come out. You have a huge crisis now.
No, I think many people in his personal life is looking for the best time to start some changes.
But this isn't a time of your choice. You've been forced into this right now.
No. I was the only one who was talking about the unavoidability of these changes. And I think what we did, this was the only option to start these reforms, what it started a couple of months ago.
You've been forced into this position right now because these tapes have been released. Nobody would have ever known that you'd been lying if these tapes hadn't been released. You would have just continued with it because you weren't strong enough to make the strong changes, the strong reforms, and the honesty that you now say you're prepared to make.
No, just very after the last election, without any strong force or tension, we started these reforms. Reforms on healthcare, reforms for state administration, and we started this very heavy program of adjusting the budget. We are the only one in Hungary who believe that this is the only one route. And our rivals who are opposing this program now, they are continuing that politics which brought the consequence of the situation in which we need these changes.
Why should anybody believe you now?
Because many believes that I am the only one who is able to fulfill this program and to execute these changes.
But there are bigger crowds out on the street tonight, and this seems set to continue.
Therefore, we have to listen the people who are on the streets, and we have to listen the people
and they're
who are
telling
at
you to
home.
leave. They're telling you to leave your job. They want
Yes.
someone else. You lied to them.
And many are saying that, no, Frank, you are the only one.
Where
you
are
should
they?
stay.
Where are they? You say they're in the house. The people are on the street telling you to leave.
It's sometimes a question of the habit of the nation.
And the habit of the leaders has been to lie.
No.
You said it was.
No. The private remark in a dramatic monologue is not the same as you believe that this expression refers to the conscious intention to take in the people. No, it's a misunderstanding of this text. It would be perhaps very important to try to go into details in the whole text to understanding its context, because in many places of this text it became clear, or it becomes clear, that it speaks about the wider attitude and context, not what you are mentioning to or referring to.
But I come back to the point, and you come back to your point, I come back to the point that during that year and a half, you weren't strong enough, that you lied to the people.
We are repeating of ourselves.
We are.
I think your understanding, it's not the correct one. I understand what you ask, but it does not mean this text as all what you understand.
Is this going to make you stronger now? Are you going to be able to enact stronger reforms that the critics say you need to do to bring the deficit down?
I'm strong enough to do that.
You were already?
I am.
Is this going to make you stronger?
It will make me stronger. I have enough support. And I have enough commitment to do that. I started this period with this politics, or this policy, and I'm continuing it.
Some people would describe you as a real political survivor, and that this event is only going to enhance your ability to survive and to make those reforms. When do you think that the deficit is going to be brought down to such a level that you can get your entry into or join the the European currency?
There is a so-called Maastricht criteria, according to which we have to be at around or below the 3% deficit per GDP. Our program, which is submitted to the Brussels, to the European Union, contains the target that in 2009 we are reaching this level.
You think this will happen by 2009?
It not happen. It doesn't happen. We do it.
How are you going to do that? What are the reforms you're going to make? Because right now you're not on track to do it.
I'm on the track. We started to implement two overwhelming reforms. Reform on state administration system, perhaps this is the right word, and the healthcare system. But these reforms themselves, not enough. We initiated the very fierce budget adjustment program. The Hungarian Parliament adopted this.
Are you concerned at all that the current security situation will escalate, that the protests will grow?
We have to handle this situation very carefully, and we has to respond to this challenge in a very reliable way, talking, hearing what people say and answering, being open. But I think the majority of the people is supporting us.
So you won't step down?
Pardon?
So you won't step down?
I won't.
Thanks very much.
Thanks a lot.
I appreciate it. Maybe I'm a slow learner.
Yeah, you were slow.
I appreciate
Great.
it.